All right. So this is the Pacific Rim / US Scrum / Met Plus Project Scrum, Friday, July 8th. President R. Vijay and myself, Patrick. Vijay, you want to go ahead first?
Yeah, hi Patrick. I'm working on my issue 316 job seeker assigned to them
Mhm.
JD, and the pagination is display the agency homepage. I'm working on the homepage and the job seeker view, and I'm testing on different users. One is the only case manager, another one is the job seeker and JD, and the third one is only JD. But my page is not correctly displaying. Then I have some clarification. Then I uh, post the message to you, and you clarified my doubts. Then now I have to update my UI and controller. Once I'm done, I will let you know. No blockers.
Okay, great. For myself, I submitted a PR last night for, I think it was number 366, where
Okay.
we want to notify a job seeker when a job developer assigns themselves to that job seeker, or a case manager assigns themselves to that job seeker. Notification through pop-up and email. And I see that was merged earlier today, so that's done. Um, so what else did I did? So I had a session this morning for about an hour with Mega and a young woman named, um, bear with me here so I can see her, Sandhya Koti. Mega and Sandhya are both 9.5 hours from us. They're both in India. They're both in the same time zone,
Okay.
which worked out pretty well. So Mega and I had talked the day before. Mega had ended up being able to stand up. She had trouble running. There was a there was an error in our database or project setup instructions on the wiki. So I walked her through that. I actually edited the wiki page to fix that. So by the end of the session, she stood up the system. She'd run the seed data, all of that, so she could get started. And then we voted on a ticket. The ticket that we voted on has to do with phone validation. The phone validation we have now is too strict. It doesn't allow for certain things like the ability to add an office extension to your phone number, things like that. So she's taken that story.
Okay.
Um, she will anyway. We have to get her into as a. She's now a collaborator, like we are, like you and I are in GitHub. So tomorrow morning, her time, she can go ahead and assign herself to that story. I showed her Waffle, showed her
Okay.
how to assign herself, move the story over to in progress, things like that. And then Sandhya is fairly new to all this stuff. I think she's got some front end development skills, but she was going to be trying to stand up the application today. She ran into a problem with Puma, and so she's running on Windows, so I couldn't help too much with that. But she's going to be Googling. I told her if she has problems with standing up the application in Windows, to contact Hua because he works in Windows, and I don't. So I can't really help her too much with some of that stuff. But she seemed eager to get started and trying to help out as well. So we had a good start, and we're going to connect up again Monday at 7 a.m. my time, and continue to move forward. So that's good. They're both very inexperienced in Ruby. Mega has more experience as a software developer in an embedded software context. She used to work with writing system-level networking software for Cisco and Juniper, I think, for 4 years. And now she wants to get into app development, SaaS development, things like that. So that's where we're at for that. So that's working out pretty well. The other thing that I did, and I want to show you rather than just talk to it real quickly, um, this. I started something that we can use. Can you see my screen okay?
Yeah.
So on the wiki, I've added this pets demos page. And so what I'm trying to do there is build out some demos, describe some demos that we can allow people to use. And there's basically two things we can use with that, or two reasons why we'd want to do that. One is training an end user, like Chet. At some point, we want to point him to this page and say, run through these demos to get an idea of how the system works.
Yeah,
Or,
familiarization.
sorry?
Yeah, you will get more familiarized with the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he can also tell us, give us feedback on how things are going.
Yeah.
The other one is, it occurred to me that as we bring on new team members, they don't have
Mhm.
any idea how the system works. And rather than me running through a demo on live,
Okay.
but then they don't really remember it, or maybe I didn't, they don't want to watch the video again, they can run these demos themselves in their own time
Okay.
and get acclimated to it. So I've got some descriptions of things to be aware of, or things to, in terms of setting up, being able to do a demo. And then I've only got one demo written so far, which is basically invite a job developer to join pets.
Okay.
And I say that I'm assuming the seed data has been entered in the database, including the creation of a default agency admin. So we start from that. So this demo starts with login as that agency admin. And by the way, I do point people to see those credentials for logging in. I do have a link here to the onboarding page, and they can see how to log in as an agency admin right there. So anyway, when they've got that, they can go through these steps. This goes through the whole invite process, the email going out, the admin setting up the account for the invited person, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So this will these take some time, but I'm going to try to do one or two a day. Because you have to think it through. You have to do it yourself and make sure you got the steps exactly right while you're building
Yeah.
it. But I think if we get 6, 8, 10 of these demos, we'll have something really powerful that we can point Chet at, and we can point new team members to. You get people up to speed fairly quickly on some of the basics of the system.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do here. And so I didn't do any coding today. Just spent more time doing this kind of, I guess, project management stuff and documentation. So anyway, if you ever want to document a demo, feel free to jump in there and add a demo to the page. We'll keep pushing it forward. And that's it for my long-winded update. No blockers from me either. So I see Hugh has joined us. Hi, Hugh.
Hello.
I don't know, when did you join us, by the way? I wasn't looking at my screen.
When you start sharing the screen.
Oh, okay. So you basically heard my update for the most part then. All right, good. And your turn.
Okay, so me. I reviewed two PRs. I merged two PRs. Today I was able to do a little bit of coding on the matcher, but not even remotely finished. Let's see if I do have some time more this weekend or during next week to see if I can move this a little bit along, but I'm having some issues on my other computer, yeah, my job computer, that's not allowing me to connect to the Mongo database, so company policy. I talked with a person that is called, disappeared from my direct messages, Megan or something like that.
Mega, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And she had some problems with Puma.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. So I think who you talked to was Sandhya. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's possible. I don't. The messages decided to, so
Yeah,
she's not here anymore. They just disappear from Slack. So I talked to her. She had some problems with Puma. I sent her a link that I found on a GitHub page, something about the installation of Puma on Windows. But I advise her to do a bundle install without production, because
Yeah,
she
that
doesn't
is
need
correct.
that.
No, that's a good
And
idea.
without the production part, you will not need the
Home.
Postgres database. She will not need the Puma and a bunch of other things. So that way, I hope that will solve her problem. But when I answered her, I believe it was already too late there, so she didn't answer back. So that's that. And basically that was it for me today.
Can you update the project setup wiki page with that step? I remember I had to do that too. It broke for me, so I had to install without production to make it work.
So what
I've
do you
already
need me to
corrected
update?
one problem with the wiki
Setup.
page
Okay.
because Mega was having problems.
Let me see if I can find. Okay, it's here. Hmm. Shell. Production. This is spelled correctly. Install without production. Dash remote production. Install without production. Okay, it's done. It's edited.
Oh, I see. Great. Yes, um, she was on the call this morning,
Mhm.
Sandhya, and she was running in Windows, and she had that problem. It was at the end of the hour, and I said that, well, I'm running on the Mac, so I'm not really good at the Windows side, but Google around, see if you can figure it out, and if not, contact Hua because he's on Windows. So I had forgotten about the without production business.
I'm on Windows, but I don't develop on Windows. When I need to develop on Ruby, I just start up my
Ubuntu.
computer that have Ubuntu, and I'll just work on Ubuntu.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Sonia's on Windows. Mega's running in that configuration. She's got Ubuntu running on, I
I
think, a
thought
Windows
about that,
PC.
but there's a bunch of problems with Ruby. You need to install, I believe, JRuby and stuff like that in order to be able to develop on Windows. It's much easier just to fire up a virtual machine that has the code and do stuff. Even if you don't use visual part, if you just share a folder and develop in your Windows, but compile and do stuff in your virtual machine, it's much easier.
Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, I can see where that would be the case.
Mhm.
Um, on Mac, it's really straightforward. It's native, with Unix right there. So
Yeah.
doing it on Windows strikes me as the hard way to go. Um,
We don't have that much luxury in our system
exactly.
compared. Yeah.
So Mega's gonna now that we've got our GitHub collaborator status, she's gonna take a story. She's gonna take the story I recommended where I I posted a bug or an enhancement where the phone validation we do is too strict. It doesn't allow for things like an Office extension to be added, things like that.
Mhm.
And she's asked me for some example valid and invalid phone formats because she's not familiar with the U.S. phone numbering scheme, which makes sense. So I owe her that. I'll give that to her this weekend probably. So she's off and running now. I showed her Waffle, showed her how to assign herself to a story, move the story over to in progress, etc. So she's good to go. Sandhya is a little bit more junior, um, but I got the impression that Sandhya is more of a front end person. That's kind of what she's been focusing on right now. So I was thinking that if she does continue with us with the project, we might want to give her something in terms of the UI itself. And what I was thinking is you have, Hua, a story having to do with updating, what is it? Updating the main menu. Let's see if I can find that. Where is it? Redesign nav bar, number 249. Um, you said change nav bar to be more up to date. I don't know what that means, but do you think that might be a good story with more fleshing out, of course, to give to a junior person, but somebody who's got some skills on the front end? Maybe, hopefully, bootstrap, things like that?
Is that story mine?
Yeah, it's 249. 249.
I have no clue what this is. I think this came out from a meeting that we had,
Yeah.
and that we talked about the nav bar and stuff like that. But I really don't remember.
Okay, it didn't arise from Sam's UI review, was it? I don't remember it being from that.
I don't think so. But
Okay.
there are little things that if you want to just to look into it and tackle it, that would be good. Things like the admin menu and stuff like that. That when you hover it, it turns blue.
Yeah,
And those little things that if we
And
think that's relevant for now, we can work on that. If she's more a front end person, let me see if we have anything here. There's also the consistency, or even if she wants to look, there's another one about the look and feel.
yeah, both of those I created. You told me not to, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
So she could, if she's a UX person, she
Investigation.
could do a review for us. I don't know. I really didn't learn too much about her background. She's going to be on the call probably Monday morning.
Mhm.
I have a follow-up. I'll see if I can learn more. Um,
I'm trying to
okay.
see, because the thing is, I don't think we have a lot of things on the UI side to do at this point,
Well,
unless she
the,
wants to start doing those chore refactorings that we have there.
the thing that bothers me about our UI that we don't really have a firm handle on is um, we click on a button, we go to a page, we do something, we submit whatever, but in order to go back to my starting point,
Mhm.
um, I hit the home page to go back to my home page, or maybe I hit the left arrow on the browser 2 times to go back. We don't really have a consistent way of traversing, say, back pages, other than the browser arrows, and I don't think that's necessarily a great way to do it.
Mhm.
So maybe we can investigate other ways of navigation. I know Bootstrap has a breadcrumb capability. I have no idea if it's useful for us or not, but we need some thinking on really how to allow the user to intelligently navigate the UI without using the browser back or forward window buttons.
The only thing I have, the only issue that I have with that story and those that I told you not to create
Mm-hmm.
is that I think it's something that we need, but we might live for now without them. You know,
Oh yeah.
I think
Yep.
we still have things to do in terms of the website and everything that really need to be done before we can start picking up on that, before we can give it to Chad so he can start playing around with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. There's more structural stuff we need to do,
Yeah.
no doubt. I was just thinking if we had a person who's eager to go and skills in the front end, it'd be good to exploit that.
If that's something that she's really interested in, and she prefers to go that way instead of learning Rails and something like that, I'm okay with having her just looking up to the to our front end and just look at it and see what we can do there.
Just take a look. Yeah. All right. Well, not everybody's suitable for every project, that's for sure. If she
Mhm.
wants to do something else, well, there's other projects. Some of our projects use Angular. I just think she said she took a short course on Angular or is going to. Anyway, I didn't do a good job of taking notes when I was on that call this morning, which I should have. I usually do. Um, okay.
I don't know.
Good.
There are things that we can maybe win with that, because if she wants to go through and look through things more in terms of front end, we also need to revisit our JavaScript structure. Eventually, we can start doing some changes in our JavaScript and the way we do things. If we to get a framework on the front end, something not like Angular, but to do at least the more basic things, and that's always something that we can look at.
When you say get a frame, are you talking about? You said don't you
React.js or something like that. That something that we can incorporate step by step. You know, not something like Angular, because usually when you start going through Angular and looking at things, you need to do Angular way or you can't. You need to go all the way in. So I don't know.
So you, with React, you can overlay certain sections of the UI with React, but other sections stay in place. Is that right? We don't have to redo the entire UI.
I didn't go very deep into React.js, but the other day, when I say the other day, maybe last month or something, someone, I'm not sure if it was Michael. I think it was Michael, or no, I don't remember who it was. He shared a link. Someone shared the link about React.js and how you could start adding React.js into your website without just having all the full thing there. So to start doing it step by step, doing this change here, this change there, and start organizing things in order to have a new front end thing. But that's something that you can explore, but it's something that we really don't need now.
Well, I agree 100%. It's it would be just a distraction right now. I think, though, the other thing, as I pointed out to people when I talk about the project and then overview, is that we're using this thing called Pusher.com. Pusher.com, is a commercial service. We're going to have to pay for it at some certain level of activity, and I do tell them that they say they give a discount for nonprofits, et cetera, et cetera. But if it turns out to be too expensive, we've got probably at least two viable approaches. One is we bite the bullet and upgrade to Rails 5, implement Action Cable, or, and this was pointed out by Claudio, who showed up at a couple meetings and hadn't showed up since, but he said you could use React on the front end. That does WebSocket as well. So you could actually deliver your notifications via that. So that's an idea. That may be a reason why we want to go to React at some point.
Yeah, if it's something that we can, those are the little things. At this point, I think what we really need what we really need is someone that has a little bit more time and that can help on finishing what we have now.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to get too ambitious about this. That's for sure.
The things, if they want to. If they just want to do JavaScript and stuff like that, we have little things that can be done, but we don't have much, and that's the reality. If they want to start learning how to work with Rails and everything, I think we can. In that area, I think we have a lot of things that they can start working on.
Yeah, we have a little bit of JavaScript. You're right. We have something I think fairly sophisticated. There's a story where I created which would allow a task to take more than one target object, like a job and a job application or something like that. That's probably something beyond the abilities of a beginning JavaScript guy, that's for sure. See what else I was thinking. Oh yeah, in terms of the demos that we want to create, so I've started one of them a little more. I think when we get 6 or 10 demos documented, then I think that might be a good opportunity to go back to Sam and have him do another UI review, but this time following the demos rather than just point and click and stumble through. Yeah, I think as soon as we can get there, I'd like to get that done to get his input on our UI. But I don't want him That was a disaster, in my opinion, the last time. We just weren't ready. So that's one of the reasons, again, the third reason, I guess, I'm doing those demo descriptions too, so we can get there.
Yeah, I think so. But it is always good to have, because the demos are good to narrow people through a path, but just a free fall onto the project, say, onto the website and everything, maybe it's not a bad thing sometimes, especially for people that are completely out, because those are the kind of people that will use the site.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad to have the input from someone that just landed on a website and says, okay, what can I do with this?
Yep.
So,
So I agree with that too. And how do I navigate from this page to something else? But also part of our UX is like the invitation process or the company registration process, which involves emails and, you know, steps that are taken in sequence. Be good to get Sam's thought on that too. Does that all make sense, or is it too confusing? You know, as somebody being invited to this thing, that's kind of weird to me. I just want to go in and create an account myself. But well, anyway, we'll just continue on that because there's a lot of value to the demos in so many areas. And that's about it. So none of these, neither of the two people I talked to today, or Sonny, who's the third person I talked to the day before, have real Java skills, so they can't really help out on the back end, but I'm continuing to ask about that as new people kick the tires on the project.
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I know. And hopefully we'll find somebody with some good Java skills who can help out there. All right, good.
That's all for me.
Yep, me too.
Okay.
I think we'll call it an evening then, huh? All right, thanks everybody.
So you guys have a nice
Bye.
weekend.
You too.
You
Take
too.
care. Bye
Bye.
now.
Bye.